Hey friends, welcome back to the Sprinkles playlist. And I wanted to point out my rear view mirror. It says, don't look back, you're not going that way. Don't look back, you're not going that way. And we've been talking about parent-child estrangement or child-parent estrangement. And if you're on either side of that fence, do all you can to mend it, have an open heart, but don't look back. What's been done is done. What's been said is said. What's been lost is lost. I hope good things come in the future for me and for you. That door is always open, but we're not going to look back. Looking forward into my next series, and that's going to be about betrayal, infidelity within a marriage. Why do people do that? What drives someone to look outside of the marriage? We're going to look at a few. I don't have all the answers. There's a whole myriad of reasons for why people cheat. But most of them, I would almost bet my bottom dollar, most of the reasons that people cheat has nothing to do with the spouse. It's all what's inside here that needs fixing. So let's get started. Ready to tackle the big one. Cheating in a marriage. It happens more often than you would probably realize, and sometimes it happens and nobody is the wiser. I'm not a therapist. I am just a flawed human in this world, trying to make my way the best I can and help those I meet along the way. And we can all just walk each other home, you know. Want to get to the other side of this life and hear job well done. We're going to make mistakes. Everybody does. It's what you do with that mistake. It's how you rectify that mistake. It's how you move forward from that mistake. We're a bunch of souls, beings, whatever, walking this planet. We're going to bump into each other and hurt each other. It's a given. I try not to hurt anybody. I've kind of become more self-aware of the effect I have on other people. I really learned it when I was teaching. I had students let you know, they notice things. And one year I had a senior come to me, and I never had this student in class. And she came to me and she said, I just want to thank you for when I was a freshman and I was having a terrible day, and I don't know, a lot of things happened in her family and in her friend, and she was crying in the hallway. I might remember that. It's not anything that sticks out of my mind, but she said, you stopped and you made sure I was okay. And just knowing that an adult cared about me that day meant so much. She says, I've never forgotten it, and I just want to thank you for that. Wow. I did what any teacher would do. I just happened to come across her in the hallway, and it made me realize how easily we impact others, positively or negatively. And so conversely, I had another student come to me at the end of the semester. It was a semester class, so it was her last day with me. And she was one of those middle of the road kids. She wasn't my top students, who really engaged in class and all that. And she wasn't one of my troublemakers. She was kind of the middle herd. And unfortunately, you don't get to know those kids as well, because you're always having to deal with the troublemakers, or you're always interacting with the star students who, want to be all in it. So she came to me at the end of the semester, and I said, hi, I thought she was going to say thank you for a good semester. I'll never forget it. She said, I just want to know why you never liked me. What? She goes, why you never liked me? I didn't really, I was dumbstruck. I liked her just fine. But somehow, maybe because I didn't call on her as much, or maybe, I don't know. I do have RBF. I was born that way. She's the only student who ever said that to me, and it just made me realize think about her coming to my class every day thinking that I don't like her. I, I felt my heart died a little bit, and I gave her a big hug, and I assured her that was not the case, but as a teacher, you're juggling 25 to 30 students and parents and admin and emails. And I said, there's just a lot on, it's a lot going on in my mind. We're kind of like that duck, on the top, we may seem like it's smooth sailing, but underneath we're paddling to beat the band. I said, I am so sorry that I didn't make you feel welcome in this class, because that was never the case. And I wish you had told me before the last day of the class. But anyway, those two instances taught me valuable lessons about how we affect others in this lifetime. And it may not even be intentional, but I always am trying now to be self-aware about how somebody else is perceiving, how I look at them, what I say, the words I choose. And one of my prayers used to be a daily basis, but at least a weekly basis, is, Lord, help me choose my words so that they are helpful to others. Help guide me in what to say. So anyway, that's looking at a lifetime of infractions, really. And so I have walked both sides of the fence of infidelity. And I'm going to start this series by talking about people who get married so young that they don't even have their full brain here. You don't get your full brain until you're 25 or 26. And in that time, you get your front lobe executive functions. Look that up. It's a big one. And that's why young people make stupid mistakes, that they don't have their full brain yet. But unfortunately, once you hit 18, you're an adult, and you can be tried as an adult and held accountable as an adult, even though you don't have your full brain. There's a conundrum there. But unfortunately, especially in the South, back in my time, girls got married very young. And so a lot of my high school friends traded a graduation gown for a bridal gown. And some of them, before they even got the graduation gown, they went for a bridal gown. And so it was very common to get married very young. And I did. I got married at 19. I had known this man since I was 14 years old. And he was a friend of my aunt. Was only 6 years older than I am, and he worked with her at the phone company, and I've known him, ever since, kind of like a family friend. And when I got to be 19, I moved in with him, not romantically. He had an extra bedroom, and I needed a place to stay. So now, eventually, within a few months, he asked me to marry him, and me being dumb, young and dumb, I did not set goals and aspirations for my life. I let life handle me. And I tried, ever since then, I tried to tell my students, don't let life control you. You have to control your life. And, set that bar to where you want it. Make a list of what you're looking for in a spouse someday. Get your career mapped out. So, and we did some of those exercises in class, because I had no idea, and I had no one to talk to, no one to guide me. So at 19, I'm living there. We get along okay. And he asked me to marry him, and, he was stable. He worked for the phone company, made pretty good living. I was like, well, maybe this is it. I didn't know. And so I married him. Nice guy, but he wasn't my person. So the first thing I want to say about young love is you're not emotionally mature enough. Until you get your full brain, you don't have emotional maturity. And the other problem there is, if you come from a dysfunctional family, and I'm not trying to use, a bunch of therapy, psychotherapy words or something, but let's face it, some families are dysfunctional. Mine was. When you're a child growing up and you witness that, it sort of becomes what you expect to be normal. And throw in alcoholism or drug abuse, domestic violence, and all of these things become written in the pattern and the makeup of who you are. And so if you're a young person listening to me right now, and I know that's far-fetched, but it might happen eventually, please make your vision board, set some goals for your life. You decide what kind of a partner you're going to have and what kind of a partner you're going to be. Research that, do some self-reflection, get to know who you are. And I'm afraid you don't know who you are until you're about 30 years old. Then you start going, oh, this is what I really want out of life. And I put myself on this track. This train is not going to where I really should be going. And that's where I'm going to leave this story for now. And young people, you have to heal from what you grew up with. So the first thing I will say is, people who get married too young, it's a recipe for disaster. Sometimes it works out. I've got friends my age who got married as teenagers. She was 15, he was 17. They're still married 50 years later. It can happen, but it's rare. It's rare. So that's the first point, emotional maturity. Make sure you have your whole brain in your head, and you got to heal. You got to heal those spiders and warts from your past before you can have a healthy relationship. You can't be a healthy partner to anybody else if you're not healthy on the inside. So again, I'm not a therapist, and if a therapist happens to see this and you want to add something in the comments, go for it. I love it. We'd love that. We're just trying to help each other. Okay, y'all take care, and I will see you on the next video.